Hey guys, so the purpose of this video is to review the previous objectives and get you ready for the quiz. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to identify the different types of triangles, rank the sides in order from size, smallest to largest, largest to smallest, find any missing angle measurements, and determine whether triangles are congruent using either side, 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 angle, and angle, side. All right. So first off, this is your review packet. So the first section here is all about classifying. So classifying means is it acute, right, obtuse, or by its sides, isosceles, equilateral, scalene. So the first one you'll notice, okay, well, none of the sides are marked. So I'm going to name that scalene. Okay. Now, also, it says classified by its sides. I did that. Now we got to classify it by its angles also, which means that I have to find all the angles. Well, if this is 68 and then 22, I would add those, and I would get 90. So then 180 minus 90, that means that's a right angle right there. So, if that's a right angle, then it's a scalene right triangle. Okay? So, if I do the same thing here, well, you'll notice that those two sides are marked congruent, so that's isosceles. And if both of these are 19, this is going to be well over 90 degrees. So this is an obtuse triangle, so that's isosceles obtuse. This one, okay, again, all these sides are marked, so this is equilateral. And also the angular, because all of these will end up being 60 degrees. You could also say that it is acute for the angles also. So that's what you were doing for this section right here. For the bottom section, this middle section here, you're finding the missing measure. So we have to remember that angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. So the trick with this is this 58 on the outside. Every time you see an exterior angle like that, an angle on the outside, you have to think, okay, that line is created by these two angles put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 58, and I know a straight line adds up to 180. So I'm going to do 180 minus 58, and I'm going to get a grand total of 122. So that angle 2 here is 122. If angle 2 is 122, its vertical angle, angle 3 is 122. Now I have two angles in each one of these triangles, and I can solve. So for this top triangle, I would do 122 plus 22, and I would get 144. And then 180 minus 144 is 36. So angle 1 is 36. I would repeat the process for angle 4, only using this 20 degrees. And I would get 38 degrees. So angle 4 is 38 degrees. Now, the biggest thing is that 58 to the 122 piece. Here is all about just going through vertical angles and some just 180 degrees inside a triangle. So the first thing you need to notice is that right angle right there. Okay, so if this is a right angle, that means that's 90 degrees. So to find angle 1, I would do 40 plus 90, get 130, subtract that from 180, and I would get 50. So angle 1 is 50 degrees. Then I look, okay, if this is 90, the vertical angle to that is 90. So at 2 is 90. Now I look at 90 and 30. 90 and 30 add up to 120. I take that 120 and I subtract that from 180, and I get 60 for angle 3. Now I use the vertical angles to find 4. So now I have 60 and 60 inside that triangle. 60 plus 60 is 120. 180 minus 120 is 60. So angle 5 is also 60. Then vertical angles right here means that angle 6 is 60. Now I can look, okay, if angle 6 is 60 and this is 20, to find angle 7 here, I'm going to do 60 plus 20, and I get 80. 180 minus 80 is 100. So that is what angle 7 is. So that's the process for the rest. All you're doing is finding the missing measure. All the triangles add up to 180 degrees. And then you use vertical angles and linear pairs to find the ones on the inside of the triangle. The next section is all about ranking the sides from longest to shortest or shortest to longest. In this case, it's shortest to longest. Okay? So the trick is you gotta find all the angles. Okay? Because the largest side is always across from the largest angle. The smallest side is always across from the smallest angle. Well, we can do that just by doing the 180. Okay? So we do 141 plus 95. Okay? I'll get 136. Then I do 180 minus 136. And I'll get 44. So this is 44 degrees. So now I look, okay, what is my smallest angle? Angle C is my smallest angle. So my smallest side is AB, across from it. So AB. And then my next smallest angle is angle A. So my next smallest side is going to be BC. And then my largest side is going to be AC. And I would repeat that throughout. So this angle is going to end up being 60 degrees when I do that. Smallest angle is this 57. So my smallest side for number 2 is going to be AC. My mid side is across from the 60. So that's going to be AB. And that means my largest side is across from the 63. It's going to be BC. And then for angle 3, or question number 3, again the same thing. B here, angle B is going to be 82 degrees. So now my smallest side, you can even tell, is going to be AB. My mid side is going to be BC. And my largest is going to be AC. And remember, when I'm naming sides, I use 2 letters with the segment. The next is just naming the smallest to largest angles. Again, we use the sides to do this. Okay, so the smallest angle is always across from the smallest side. So in this case, we have 2 of the smallest. Okay, 7 and 7. That means that angle B and angle C are going to be the smallest because they're across from each other. They're actually going to be equal. And then my largest angle is going to be angle A because it's across from the 9. Here, it's a little bit easier. Again, 8 is my smallest side, so across from that is angle B. My next smallest angle is going to be angle A, and my next biggest is going to be angle C, across from the 11. And I would just repeat this for 6. Smallest angle is angle A, across from the 18, angle C, and angle B. So that's the process to order the sides. So the rest of these problems can be done for practice. This is one of the major things that we've been talking about for a little bit. And it says, write a statement that indicates that the triangles are congruent. Well, the first thing we gotta say, okay, is, okay, are these triangles congruent? Yes, and I can show this by saying each side is congruent and each angle is congruent. So I can say angle T is congruent to angle J. I can say angle K, or angle R, is congruent to angle K. I can also say angle S is congruent to angle I. I can also repeat with the sides. So side TR is congruent to angle JK. Side RS is congruent to KI. And ST is congruent to IJ. So I notice all the sides and all the angles are congruent. So now I can write a congruency statement that says triangle, and I can use this triangle first, JKI so I can write a congruency statement that says this triangle right here, triangle JKI, is congruent to triangle TRS. So that's all you're doing here, is naming the congruent sides. These, you're matching them up. So you have to solve for x and y. Well, we use this congruency statement to match it up. So you notice that this 5x plus 2 is for angle D. Well, angle D matches up with angle A. So that 87. So I know 5x plus 2 equals 87. So now I can solve by subtracting 2. And then dividing by 5. And then I get x is 17. I would do the same thing with my y. I match up. Angle C is going to match up with angle F. Oh, shoot. I don't have angle F. Well, here's the trick. If I know this is 87, I know this is 87. Well, now I can find angle F. Okay, I would do 42 plus 87, get a grand total of 129. Subtract that out from 180. 180 minus 129, and we get 51. So now angle F is 51. Now I can set up the equation that says 3y equals 51. Divide by 3. Y is 17 also. So that's how you do something if you don't have that third angle. And remember, congruent. So that's all you're doing for these. Okay? For these bottom ones, you're determining if they're congruent or not. And this is using your side, 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 and side angle side. So in this case, there's multiple ways you can do it. But you notice that I'm given a side, an angle, and a side in both triangles. So what I would say is triangle GDE is congruent to triangle EFG by side angle side. You could have also used those two angles. In this case, you see all the angles are congruent. Okay, they all have one arc. But all of these sides have one tick mark, and these sides have two tick marks, which means these sides are not congruent to these sides. So this is not congruent. And here, again, I can mark the shared side. So I can either use side angle side or angle side angle for here. or side, side, side. There's multiple ways of doing this. So that's how you're going to be proving triangles congruent, and then you use them to solve problems. So again, label what you know. Remember, shared lines always get marked, and therefore you can tell that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD by side, side, side. Okay. In this case, if I mark this, again I have an angle, but for side, angle, side, I would need this angle up top. So these are not congruent, because this is the angle, side, side there. In this case, I have a side and an angle, but I have nothing shared that I can mark. So I only have two pieces of information. If I only have two pieces of information, not congruent. I need at least three. And for 10 here, I just wanted to point out these arrows again mean parallel. So if I draw that blue line and I can make that funny looking Z, remember the corners of that Z are alternate interior angles, so I can mark those. I can also use these parallel lines in this to mark these angles. So then I can then mark the shared side with 3. And you notice that now in this triangle and in this triangle, I have angle, side, angle. I have no names for that, so you guys can just write. But if you see that the triangle has some vertices that you can name, you need to name the triangle in a congruency theorem. So this is a quick review for the quiz. Make sure you complete that review packet and bring it back for Monday or Tuesday for that quiz.